Good afternoon. Welcome back to the farm. It's later in the day than I would have liked, but after the rain yesterday, I knew I wasn't going to be able to do anything this morning. So I just let things be and prayed for the sun to come out, which it finally did, but only about an hour ago. So I'm not sure how dry the garden is and if it's going to be easier or harder to dig if it's still a little wet. So let's go over and take a look. We can give it a shot. Let me go grab the shovel. I also have my work gloves today because I was finding I was getting a bit of a hot spot on my hand where the shovel handle was digging in. So we don't want to have to deal with blisters on top of everything else when I've got so much to get done. All right, let me grab this shovel and we'll get on with this. I can't say if that was easier or harder, but at least I got a section done. Whew, that stuff is heavy and wet. But, and I'm also kind of starting to notice that this bed isn't entirely straight. But at this point, I'm not sure I care all that much. But, so that's a little bit more done. I think I'm going to do the other asparagus bed this afternoon. And I also want to do a little bit of a property walk, and I'll tell you guys why later. So I know that I need to get back to the garden, especially since the weather is so nice and not likely to last long. I think we're good today and good tomorrow. But then we've got a 50% chance of rain for the next 3 days after that. But I need to do something different just to keep my brain from exploding. So I want to go and walk around the lower pasture a little bit. I'm seeing a lot of well, not a lot, but the trees down there are starting to come into bloom. And so I want to start doing some identification. I've got in my bag some marking tapes and a Sharpie so I can label the ones that I can identify, and I have red, yellow, and green. Red for trees that I want to take out, yellow for trees I'm not sure about, and green for trees that I want to stay. Again, I'm not taking anything out this year, but I want to... Ooh, that's a very deep hole. But I want to at least start identifying and figuring out what's still alive and what do I need to start thinking about replacements for. So come for a walk with me and let me show you the lower pasture. Particularly interested in are these old apple trees. There's half a dozen of them down here, and I'm 90% certain that they are dead as a doornail. But I don't want to get rid of anything until I'm 100% sure that there's nothing that can be salvaged off of them. They're old trees. I don't know what varieties they are, but that might be interesting to try and salvage if we could get any fruit off them. But this one is looking very well. Those look like buds, don't they? So despite being absolutely riddled with woodpecker holes, there is some life in this tree. So now I really want to think about giving this a hard prune, and I mean really hard, like taking some of those offshoot branches just off and getting rid of all the water shoots, and then taking out a bunch of the side branches and just taking it right down. This one over here has even more life to it. So this one is definitely worth saving. You can see there's a lot of branches that need to get taken down just to get some management on it. And then if we open up the canopy, take off the dead wood, it may actually be good for its health. Now, it's too late to do anything on it now, but I could start marking branches now that I want to take down in the winter, so then I can just come through and start cutting away at it. This one's doing a lot of the same thing. You can see, well, first off, you can see all the rugosa rose, so that's got to come out. And again, there's no reason for this tree to be alive. So you could see the roots split here, and there's fungi growing all up the trunk. The bark is all missing from the trunk here, but those branches are all looking incredibly healthy, except for the friggin' rugosa rose. It's like the top half doesn't know that the bottom half is dead. Alright, that's not going to get all of it, but it's a start until I can come back. I need a better shirt and my gloves, because as you can see, that stuff, it fights back. And I kept saying rugosa rose. It's not rugosa rose, it's multiflora rose. I love rugosa roses. I'm desperate to get more, get any for the property. I don't think the ones that I tried to bring from Pennsylvania are going to make it. But we're just going to do little bits at a time. And all right. I want to show you something. So that tree is technically on my property. The property line is at the road. So everything on this side of the creek up to about where we came down, that slope there, is mine. On the other side, I believe it belongs to the state, but I'm not sure. So, and that's good news, because I found out that that tree is a serviceberry. You might call it a Juneberry, you might call it a Saskatoon. Either way, it's a berry-producing tree. And that's what I have all up along the tree line up on the property. So I've never had serviceberry before. And everybody says that their berries are great. So I'm looking forward to getting to experiment with those. And if I like them, adding more to the landscape, because I do really like the way they look in the spring. I may bring some dogwoods in too, just because some variety, but I would rather have useful plants than just pretty plants. There's quite a few of these. I'm suspecting these are autumn olives, and they're problematic in their own way. They aren't as invasive here in New York as they are in other places, but as you can see, they're still pretty invasive. There's quite a few of them down in this area. So that's something I'll have to be considering. How many do I leave? How many do I take out? They do provide a berry. It's a fairly tart berry, but the people do like it. And obviously that's food for the wildlife. It's nectar for pollinators. So it's a fine line on, do we get rid of it? Do we keep it? I don't want to go too much further that way. Now that I know some of these trees are viable, I'm going to be thinking about these apple trees a little bit different. And I know it's still very wet over there, so I want to not go too far in that direction. So I'm going to go this way across. This half is a bit drier than that half. In fact, I was very excited this morning. I tried to get pictures for you guys, but that clump of willow/autumn olive had a couple of wood ducks in it this morning. And I don't know if they're nesting there or if they had just stopped. There's a pond in the middle of that. Not a permanent pond, it's just where water has collected over the winter. But I'm really hoping they're going to come back because I would love to have ducks down here. This section here is the drier section, if you will. When we had the big flood, this whole flat area here was underwater. But it also dried out the fastest. And as you can see, I'm walking through it now. It's very uneven, but it's not squishy. So I'm thinking this is where I'm going to plant some of those trees. I'll put the river locust and willows more that way because they want more wet. But this way I can put hazelnuts. I'd like to put a couple of mulberry trees in here and maybe just try and keep this area more open. I'm trying to see, I think that looks like Angelica. I think that is definitely Angelica, so I'll have to do some research into that. And there's quite a bit of that in the landscape here. And that's good. You can candy that. I believe there are medicinal properties for it, but I'm not sure what they are. Okay, now this is starting to get a little squishier. Ooh, look at the violets. Sorry, Mom, I love violets. My mother's doing war with violets in her landscape, so. But, okay, now, okay, already you can start to see, maybe you can't, that's all wet. This is all wet. So, that's the line of demarcation there. But I want to get over there because there's some clumps of grass or something there I want to take a look at. All right, one thing I see walking through here, this is garlic mustard, which is edible, but it's also incredibly invasive. And we're being asked to pull any garlic mustard that we see. Well, that's going to be a heck of a job. So it might be easier to just come through here with a weed whacker. This, I don't know what this is. I need to find out because I have it all up in my flower bed. And I really need to reclaim my garden. So you can see we're walking along the embankment here below the house. So there's the house up there and the embankment here. And this path is fairly dry. It was a cow path once upon a time. The previous owners did run their cows through here, probably later in the summer when it was drier. But so there's like a circuit that goes all the way around the lower pasture, and I'm assuming it's cows. But deer use it as well. And there are ticks in this area. I have picked up ticks before, but I put my permethrin on before I came down. So I'm not messing with Lyme disease. This, I think this is a honey locust. And if it is, then this little guy is a sucker coming off of it. And I may be able to dig that up and use it as a nitrogen fixer, either up in the fruit orchard or over here as I'm getting other stuff planted. So that'll be useful to keep an eye out on. There's a lot of dock through here. I know dock has medicinal uses, but I am not familiar with them. I think it's a digestive. These grasses are what I was most interested in. Can you see these? I'm thinking, and we've got little flower buds coming up now, that it's some kind of lily, but I don't know what kind. And there's quite a few of them. You can see they start here and go all the way up there. So I need to get some pictures of this and try and identify these. It is very buggy down here. Again, I'm sure because it's wet and unmanaged, but that's what it's going to be. It's going to be relatively unmanaged wetlands. And it's a matter of figuring out what it's currently doing and what can I do to facilitate that, since I can't use it agriculturally or any other way just because of the water issues. I do want to show you these guys. These are one of my favorite plants. And I've never seen them in the spring, so I'm excited to have them come up. They're called teasels, and they were used once upon a time for carding wool, because these flowers are very spiky and catch on the wool fibers, so you can use that to basically brush those wool fibers clean and straight. I saw them for the first time in Christmas ornaments. Somebody had wrapped them up in wool, different colored wool batting to make a nativity scene for my parents, and I thought that was very cool. Up on the hill here, you can see a lot of red vines. I'm hoping it's not more multiflora rose. I suspect it might be, but it might also be wineberries, and that would be wonderful. I would love to have this embankment be all berries, because, I mean, there's not much else I can do with it. It's too steep. Even with terracing, it would be so exorbitant to try and put beds in here that I would rather let it do its thing and be able to come berry picking at different times of the year. Now, these ones have red stems, which is why I think they are wineberries. But there's some other ones up here that have green stems. I'm hoping those might be blackberries. I'm realizing those wineberries look an awful lot like the multiflora rose I was taking down over by the apple tree, so I may be kicking myself for that. Alright, but you can see how different those ones look, and they're nice and straight, and they do seem to have the same kind of buds that we've got on the black raspberries up in the garden. So if these are volunteer blackberries, I will be very happy. That tree, I love that tree, but it is so very dead. I'm not going to do anything with it just because I love the shape of it, but there's more of that thistle. Alright. Now we're trying to get, there's a walkway over there that goes back up the hill, and that's what we're trying to get to. So, but you can see this whole embankment all the way over to the creek is all those briars. We've got another one of these. I'm pretty sure that's autumn olive. So we'll have to think about how we're going to manage that. And then coming over here, more briars. Another. All right, again, there's buds on that apple tree. So that may just need shaping up and management. This creek, I'm trying to figure out Because obviously this comes down from the upper property and through here, and it comes here, and the water's coming down, and then where does it go? It's not continuing on down where it should. I mean, it looks like there's enough water to be making a stream, but I don't know where it goes. So I'd like to get this cleaned out more so that the water flows more evenly down to the creek and maybe helps mitigate some of the flooding through here. All right. And then we step over these rocks and back up that hill. Oof. Oh. Lots of mullein on the property, and that's a good thing. I like that. You can use the flowering stalks on mullein after they've gone by. You can dip them in wax and use them as torches. Of course, when we were kids, we used them as clubs to beat each other with, so. Oh, all right, and then we're back up to the woods. So there we are. You can see all the service berries I've got through here. So I'm very excited about those. It looks like there might be another one back in that corner. Up on that hill, I have morel spawn and I have ramp seeds. And I want to kind of plant that whole area over to morels and ramps to start kind of naturalizing that area. I think the previous owner's kids had a fort up in the beech trees up there. So, all right. Okay, enough dilly-dallying. I need to go dig some more dirt. Alright, that's 13 feet. That's good enough for tonight. Whew. So I at least now have both asparagus beds accessible. They're not all the way down. I just did to the edge of the second row beds on both sides. You can probably see it here better. Well, maybe I did it a little bit further, but not much. Anyway, so I can access these beds from both sides now. So if the compost comes tomorrow, I can get those evened out, get some compost on, start getting those asparagus and strawberries in. I won't get anything out of them this year, and that's fine. I wasn't expecting to. But the sooner I get them in the ground, the more time they have to get their roots established. Tomorrow's plan, the weather is supposed to be decent, so I'm gonna get these two rows done, or this path done, and the back part of that path done on this side. I'm running out of time quick, and if I'm doing 3 sections a day, well, and tomorrow's going to be an unusual day because I'm not going to have a lunch break tomorrow, and I'll tell you why tomorrow. But So if I get 2 done, I'm going to be pleased with myself. Like I said, we've got decent weather tomorrow, and then it's 50% rain all through the weekend. And so that's really going to interfere with how much I can get done. I really want to have these paths at least all dug, if not all mulched, before the 10th, because I have company coming then, and I want to be able to at least walk through the garden with them. But we do what we can, and the rest will happen when we're able to. All right. I have been promising myself the best onion rings in the area if I just got that section done. It's what I needed to get through that. So I am going to go to Jerry's and get onion rings and probably something barbecue-y, because it is Beltane, and we like to do fire and barbecue for Beltane. But I hope you have a lovely evening, and I will talk to you all tomorrow. All right, enough of the hard work. The less said about it, the better. It's getting done, and that's the important thing. The fun thing for today is it's tree pickup day. I bought a bunch of trees, surprise, surprise, from the Otsego County Soil and Water Conservation District. Now, I had never heard about conservation districts until I moved here and happened to see a sign about it in my local hardware store. And apparently, a number of soil and water conservation districts do tree sales on a regular basis. And in some places, that includes things like asparagus crowns, strawberry crowns, other root produce, like things like that. I can't even remember everything that I've ordered. I know I have redbud trees coming for the big orchard. I have a couple of grapevines. I have high bush cranberries and low bush blueberries coming for the lower pasture. I think I ordered more hazelnuts. I went crazy with the hazelnuts, and I'm going to be regretting it desperately, I'm sure. But, so I have 2 pickup times, but they said come either time, so I'm coming for the 11:15 pickup. And I may stop and get some compost on the way back, so I can at least get these grapes in the ground. But let's get on the road. Hey, I'm here for trees.
Here to give them to you.
Excellent. Oh, they even come in a handy bag. Morning. Thank you so much for this. This is an all-new option for me. I've never heard of the conservation district selling trees. So this is really exciting.
Can I give you a hand with that?
Oh, no, it's fine. That's good.
Awesome.
Thank you very much. Take care, everybody. Ooh, that was a wet one. All right, so in addition to, I've got the red buds and the trees are in here, but I also got stakes to hold up these cages, which will go around the new trees and help protect them. I'm going to use wire cages on the trees that I already have in the ground, but these will be good. The red buds are teeny tiny, so those will be protection for those. I'm going to run to a local garden center to see if I can get some compost real quick, just because I'd really like to put those in, especially around the grapes if I'm going to put the grapes in. So let's run up the street. Alright, so this is my haul from the Soil and Water District. I have 2 Niagara grapes, I have 5 red buds, I have 10 Fraser firs, I have 10 hazelnuts, I have 4 low bush blueberries, and how many? 10 high bush cranberries, and I have 5 elderberries. The grapes are going to go in the front yard here. The red buds are going to go in the orchard. The hazels are going to go along the creek. The Fraser firs are going to go up in the woods. The cranberries and the blueberries are going to go down in the lower pasture. And I have no idea where the elderberries are going. I want to get as many of these planted today as I can, but I'm not sure how many I'll be able to do. I'm absolutely getting the red buds and the grapes in. I'd like to get the hazels in. The rest I'm gonna put someplace damp and safe, and I guess we'll try and get some of those in tomorrow. But let's see how much we can get done today. If I could get these and the lower pasture stuff in today, I would feel much better. And the Fraser firs and the hazels could wait till tomorrow, because I also have 5 hazels over there, and I might have 5 hazels over there. So that's a lot of hazels, and it'd be nice if I could get them all just done at once. But let's start with these grapes and see how much we can get done in, say, an hour or so. Is the layout for these trees is supposed to be fruit tree, nitrogen fixer, fruit tree, nitrogen fixer. And this row is fine. So I've got fruit tree. I just put in the red bud here, and that's a nitrogen fixer. So then it's going to be fruit tree, nitrogen fixer. Perfect. Except I did something wrong in the second row because the two nitrogen fixers are almost right next to each other. So I think that pear tree should have been here, and I should have had a nitrogen fixer there. I'm trying to figure out how much I really care. I don't want to replant anything because they've been traumatized enough. So I'm thinking, do I put another fruit tree in there, ignore the pattern, and put a nitrogen fixer there? But that's, no, that'd be fine, because then I've got, let me show you what I'm looking at. So if I put a nitrogen fixer there, this is going to be fruit tree, nitrogen fixer. So that should give me enough space. And then on the third row, I'm going to put a nitrogen fixer down there. I hope you can see me. I can't see anything in the camera right now because of the sun. And then another nitrogen fixer there. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So then I could either put an end one on, or I could go into my fourth row and start putting that. Let's get these other ones planted first and then see what the heck we're doing. I'll give all that stuff a good mulching once the compost comes in on Saturday. Obviously I didn't get the call today, so nothing's coming today. But that load is going to come on Saturday, and if I bring a wagon full out here and some cardboard, I can get all of those blocked and mulched, and then take a load of the wood chips out, and then that stuff should be good for the season, and I shouldn't have to do anything else to it except come out and put fences up. And I'll do the same thing for the grapes. I've got wire and posts to do a grape arbor, and I've got, those are white Niagara grapes, and I've got 3 Tom Cord, they're a cross between Thompson and Concord grapes coming from Stark Brothers. Those are gonna go kind of along the road, which will hopefully discourage the deer because they're not gonna wanna go through those wires and risk getting trapped in the yard. All right, let's see what else I've got that I can do. I think I might actually be done. There's a part of me that wants to do one last section of the garden, but I think I'm gonna go have dinner first and see how I feel after dinner. Of course, I may also go to the garden center because I found a really cool looking garden center. Decisions. Well, that was quite a day. I did go to the garden center, which is an amazing place, and I'll take you guys there next time I go. Today I just needed to kind of be in that headspace. It's a little early in the season anyways. It was a lot of begonias and hanging baskets, so I'll be interested to see what they get as the season moves on. But they had 25 greenhouses, so they've got tons and tons of stuff. So I'm looking forward to taking you guys back there. And when I got back here, I figured, you know, it'll only take you 20 minutes, half an hour, just do that last piece of the garden. So I did. And you can thank me later for not making you sit through another montage of me digging dirt. I'll give you some more tomorrow. But so now the garden is about half done if we don't count the central part, and I'm not counting the central part because I still don't know what I'm going to do with all that dirt. But I just got a text message from the compost guy. He's going to come Saturday at 4. Fingers crossed, because it's supposed to rain on Sunday. So I want to get as much of this done before then as I can. And yeah, so that's it for 2 days of garden and trees. Tomorrow will be a little bit different topic, but we've got 2 days of bees coming. So I hope you'll come back for that and see what I get up to with the bees. Take care, everybody. Have a great night.